Hi, I'm Dr. Nicole Turner-Lee. I'm a senior fellow in governance studies and the director of the Center for Technology Innovation at the Brookings Institution. And I'm excited to have this conversation with Congresswoman Robin Kelly, who hails from the great state of Illinois. People who are in Chicago know this woman because she has run for other offices locally, but she also has been on Capitol Hill making a difference. Congresswoman Kelly is vice chair of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which is the main policy body on technology and communications issues. She also serves on the Health, Energy and Commerce, Consumer Protection and Commerce subcommittees. And recently, she was made part of a working group on racial equity that is actually an appendage of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. She's a staunch champion of common sense reform. She's committed to health equity, and she's also a vibrant member of the Congressional Black Caucus, where she has been involved in a variety of tracks, including the one on Black women and girls. Congresswoman, I'm so happy to have you as part of this conversation for a couple of reasons. I know you reign from the great state of Illinois, so you are very familiar with the work of Rainbow Push Coalition and the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. But more importantly, you have a critical role on the committee in Congress and the House of Representatives that's dealing with all of this infrastructure money, particularly around broadband. So I want to start this conversation, just sort of with a vote of confidence, because I've known you probably all of my career when it comes to how we're going to allocate these funds to close the digital divide that are coming out of the Infrastructure and American Jobs Act, and how we're going to make sure that people who look like us are not going to be last when it comes to being beneficiaries of these new resources.
Sure. Well, first of all, giving credit to the Biden-Harris administration, equity in all areas is very, very important to them. They meet regularly with the Congressional Black Caucus, and I'm sure the other caucuses, but I know they meet weekly with the CBC, and we are very confident that in everything they do, they want an equity lens. And then a lot of the money is going to go straight to the state, to the governor's offices. But what I did, I met with my state representatives in my district and talked to them about what was coming and the role they would help play in making sure, our constituents were privy to, grant money. And also the other thing is I have a small business advisory, and I went to my outreach staff that deals with the small business advisory, and we're going to present something. And most of the, my district right now is 56% African American and 15% Latinx. And so we're going to make sure that my constituents know what is available, what they can apply for, that is straight federal grants, and then what will, what the state will oversee, but how to ask for it, what they need to write. We can't write anything for them. We can be references. So that's how I'm going to educate as much as I can to make sure people know what is available.
And that seems to be a great way to do it, because one of the things that I argue in my research, if we're going to actually close this digital divide, and you remember when I was hitting the pavement back in Illinois trying to do this with community technology centers, we got to make sure that local people are involved, right? People who represent the lived experiences of these communities that were essentially left in the dust when we had to go online because of the pandemic. I mean, when you think about just some of the big rock issues around why we're investing in broadband in general, I know you've been a proponent of and champion for telehealth, for jobs and workforce, for education. How do you think this is actually going to impress upon those issues as well?
My district is urban, suburban, and rural. And I remember, when I was campaigning 9 years ago now and going into the Kankakee area, my GPS didn't work. Depending on where you were, the cell phone didn't work. And I remember I was looking for someone driving up and down an hour and a half because I couldn't find the person. You will not get economic development if you don't have broadband, if you can't go online. And when you think about COVID, it put such a spotlight on so many inequities and disparities. And, with e-learning, they talk about the homework gap. There were 17 million kids in the homework gap, meaning, they had to sit in front of McDonald's or the library. Now it's down to 9 million because of congressional action, but that's still too many kids. And in Kankakee, I know I had students that had that issue because they did not have access, to get online. And it's hard to look for a job if you don't have access. It's hard to do a lot of things. And you mentioned telehealth. It's hard to do, telemedicine and telehealth if you can't get online. So it will have a giant impact on the people that live there, on the state of the municipalities that are suffering from this, this digital divide or digital gap. And, I think it'll bring economic development to the area once there's more broadband, and give more opportunity to the people that live there.
Yeah, I so agree. And I'm so enlightened by your comment, because we tend to think that solving the digital divide should be rural or urban. And what you're suggesting is actually all three, right?
Everything. Yeah, because even me, I live in the suburbs of Chicago, and we've had the Zoom hearings and all of that. And I've gotten complaints that, I cut out, or the system isn't strong, the connection where I live also, and I'm suburban, and we know we had black holes also in the urban areas, but also the other thing in the urban areas, and I'm sure in some rural, people cannot afford connectivity. So this will help with that also.
I also think about you as a champion for community colleges. When I've known you over the years, you've always tried to push apprenticeships and internships and any type of exposure we could actually take to the community colleges. We know where that landed up with the bill, but I'm curious, as we think about this money, anchor institutions play a role, but they're not as prominent, right? And how we can actually get them into the mix as well to ensure they also get fair, a fair.
To get who into the mix?
Community colleges and libraries and others,
Yeah, I mean, community colleges play a very, very important role, because that's where you find more workforce development and just different opportunities. And it's not, yes, it might be a 17-year-old, but it also could be a 30-year-old going back to school, or a 40-year-old getting certified in something. So community colleges play a really important role in workforce development, without a doubt. And in the infrastructure bill, and also in the Build Back Better bill that we hope to get passed, there's a lot of workforce in, both of those bills that, people can take advantage of. So definitely important that community colleges play, a major role. I would even like to see more, high schools, and I know there's some talk in my area, offering more vocational, but in the school, but also Kankakee County has a great, I don't know, I'm trying to like work center where you can go if you want to be, if you want to do something tech or graphic artist, or you want to be a cosmetologist or a police officer. I think we need more of that also.
Yeah. I'm thinking, and I know you came and gave us your time, Congresswoman, during the midst of votes. There's just so much going on in Washington. I don't know how you keep up, because I can't, right? I tell myself I'm so busy. But, I want to end with this, because some people may see you as just approaching these types of issues, but you are also a champion when it comes to artificial intelligence and equity and fairness. We're talking about the digital divide right today, but there's a whole lot more. So just kind of share with people what you're trying to do there as well.
Yeah. You know what? I did not come to Congress to be a techie person, because I'm really not. But I had the opportunity to be the ranking member on the IT committee of the oversight committee. So, and I shared it with Will Hurd, who's, ex-CIA, very techie. So he and my young staff kind of drugged me into this. And he was a person that had the 30,000-foot view, and I was the regular Jack or Jane on the street that really didn't know a lot about artificial intelligence. But it's here with us, and it will be with us, and it will be with us in the future. And when you think about, you go to the airport and you use Clear, or just all kind of different things. So we did a years long research about artificial intelligence, and we did different white papers about, national security, ethics, privacy, biases, workforce. And my two big ones were workforce and what biases are out there, because people have gone to jail because of artificial intelligence and the algorithms and all of that. So we think it's important to get people, but also members of Congress, comfortable and knowledgeable about artificial intelligence and what it can do, regulations, what it needs to be careful of. That's what the white papers, are all about. I even spoke to the European Parliament, how we can work. I shocked myself, how we can work together, and because we agree on some things, but we don't agree on everything. And the other thing is, Americans, we treasure our privacy. And so that's another issue, with all of this tech stuff and artificial intelligence, just the people's privacy issues and those kind of things. So that, it's been a whirlwind, but, I've learned a lot too, and I'm still learning about it.
Here's to the member that didn't come in to do tech. Now she
is.
Well, Congressman, I want to say this because I know you're busy helping to make sure that there's inclusivity and equitably distributed resources when it comes to this new major legislation, as well as other things that you do diligently as a public servant. And I want to say thank you, because I know that, again, you came in feet first, and I'm not going to tell people, I think I was 15 when I met you, and you were maybe when we actually first met.
Something like that.
Right. I was going to say, you gave this person a chance, and look where I am, following your lead to make sure that your policies actually become a reality for many, many people.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And with that, get back to work, and we'll get back to work on our end.
Bye-bye.